Hi everyone, in this video we're moving on to the third key area of physiology and health, all about the biology of controlling fertility by looking at how we identify fertile periods. So firstly, there are two different types of fertility. Either there's continuous fertility for the male reproductive system, so a continuous production of sperm due to that negative feedback control of the testosterone, whereas females exhibit a cyclical fertility in which there are only a few days each menstrual cycle where fertilisation is even possible due to the release of the ova along the oviduct. So because there's only a few days each cycle, it's important to be able to identify when the fertile period is taking place. So there's a couple of physiological changes that occur after ovulation. So one of those is an increase in body temperature about the day after ovulation, increase in half a degree, as well as changes to the cervical mucus, which becomes more thin and watery, so that it doesn't impede the entry of the sperm cells. So many of the questions that are around this topic will be problem solving ones. So let's try a few of those together. So pause the video, see if you can answer this question about fertility. So your question here is, on which date is ovulation most likely to have occurred? So you've got four different dates, you've got the body temperature and the consistency of the cervical mucus. So if ovulation is taking place, we know that the temperature must have gone up and the mucus must be thin. Okay? So the only date that fits these examples is the 22nd of November. Thus, ovulation must have occurred the day before, on the 21st. So let's try another one of these problem solvings. So you've got a graph which shows you the changes in FSH and LH concentrations over 36 days, and you have to explain how the information from this graph indicates that this female has cyclical fertility. Pause the video, come up with your answer. Okay, so the key thing that you're looking for is the repetition. So as long as you get the idea that it repeats, thus it must be a cycle. So ways you could have phrased that: the cycle starts to repeat between days 28 and 36, or after day 28, the cycle starts to repeat, starts again, or the changes in days 28 to 36 are the same as days 0 to 8. So why don't we also take this opportunity to practice some more generalised problem solving? So in this case, it's been applied specifically to fertility, but some of these skills could come up in any of the graph questions. Okay? So you've got reading and interpreting data from the graph. Know the drill by now, pause the video and come up with your response. Okay, so we've got a graph. With any graph question, the first thing to do is always familiarise yourself with the graph itself and with its key. So we've got day of the menstrual cycles over a 28-day cycle. Over this side, we've got the body temperature in degrees, and on this side, we've got the resting heart rate in beats per minute. And our key tells us that the body temperature is shown by the solid line, and the resting heart rate is shown by this dotted line. So question 1 was to state the body temperature when the resting heart rate was 57 beats per minute. So this is a reading the graph question. They want you to compare the two values. So the key to that is to always to go up and down and not side to side as many students do. So first off, we need to find the resting heart rate when it was at 57 beats per minute. So we're reading from this side of the graph. This line here is our 57 mark. So let's go along until we find the dotted line on the 57 beats per minute point. Okay. Once we have that, we want to go up to where it meets the solid line, the body temperature, which we then read from this side of the graph. So should work out as 37.2 degrees. So when the heart rate was 57, the temperature was 57.2. So up and down. Next one, calculate the increase in body temperature that occurs between days 12 and days 18 of the cycle. So again, this is a reading the graph question. Yes, a calculation involved. So note that we're just looking for the increase, how much it goes up by, i.e. the difference between days 12 and 18. You're not asked for percentage change, percentage increase. Okay. So if we read day 12, again, we're looking for the body temperature from this side, then it goes up by 0.59 degrees. Okay. Remember, if you're ever unsure how to work out the value of the individual boxes, what you can do is compare 2 points. So from here to here, we go up by 0.2. So it takes us 10 boxes to increase by 0.2. So 0.2 divided by 10 for 0.02. So that's how much increases each time. The final question was state the event occurs prior to the increase in body temperature. So acknowledge and understanding question along with your problem solving. So what precedes the physiological change? Well, that's ovulation. If you do have any further questions or queries, please always just let me know.